Hey gang, Tony here, and I'm doing something a little different today. I haven't participated in one of these video giveaway things in a long time. I haven't had the time for them, but there's a very cool one going on right now, and I wanted to participate. It is from MustWeDevour, and the question is, what is your favorite horror movie of all time? And I think I've talked about this before, but I want to show you the movie here that I chose, and that is Dead Alive. I say that is my favorite horror movie of all time, because if I have to choose one, this kind of has a lot of the elements that I like and look for when I am watching horror. I've said before, I'll say again, I tend to enjoy campy horror movies a little more. I love all horror, and it's really hard to choose just one horror movie that you love, but I come back to this one a lot. And there are certainly other ones that are like realistically like right near this one, or, you know, and it kind of depends on how I'm feeling too, you know. I might not be in the mood for a campy horror film and I want to watch something else. So, yeah, I'm just saying, it's a pretty hard question to answer, but I always go back to Dead Alive because it's a movie that I truly love. I've been watching for years and years, and I always go back to. The first time I saw this, actually, was back in high school. So this was probably around, I'm going to say, 1996, 97, something like that, probably. I don't know the exact date, but I was hanging out with a couple of friends, and we were going to have like a little kind of just hangout sort of party, just a few of us, and get some pizza and drink and whatever, things that you shouldn't be doing probably when you're that young. And my one friend, Todd, went to get a movie, and he shows up with Dead Alive. And he says that the reason he rented it was because of the tagline, the goriest fright film of all time. And at the time, of course, it was VHS, I believe we probably rented. And he pointed that out and said that we have to see this thing. And I said, well, of course we do. I'll be honest, that first viewing was not the, how do I even put this? It wasn't necessarily that great, because we were partying, and I saw like parts of the movie and not a whole lot of it, and the accents can be a little hard to follow sometimes, especially if the movie's kind of low and there's a lot of noise going on. But there were some moments that stuck out, and I'm sure you know, like any moment, the whole began with the rat monkey, and the part with the priest in the graveyard, and I mean the whole movie is kind of quotable in a sense, but there were moments that stuck out, so much so that when I went to college a couple of years later, and people were asking me to recommend some interesting, gory, off-kilter horror, I immediately thought of Dead Alive. And so we had another viewing party of that movie in college. This time I really watched it. And it's weird to me that 2 years, 3 years would pass, and I would love a movie that I barely watched, but I did. And we watched it again, and I loved it even more having actually watched the movie. And shortly after, I bought a copy of it, and I just watch it at least once a year, probably around Halloween, for sure, and then most likely again at some other point. So that was a very long explanation of why I love Dead Alive. And sometimes I like to freak people out and tell them how before Lord of the Rings, this is what Peter Jackson was up to. And I kind of miss these older New Zealand horror-ish kind of things that he was doing. But yeah, maybe he'll do something else. Who knows? Anyway, that is it. MustWeDevour, thank you so much for running this contest. I think that this is the first entry I've done in one of these in like months, so I'm glad that I actually had the time for it. If you have not seen Dead Alive, you have to see it. It's crazy, it's funny, it's ridiculous, and it is pretty damn gory in that last scene. Okay, everybody, Breathe Deep of the Night. I'll see you very soon. Peace.